In a recent video, I started talking to you all about Joseph Campbell and also Carl Jung, but some of the ideas that Campbell came up with, and I want to expand on that more, starting with the hero's journey. So this is an archetype within myth that Campbell saw as being basically universal throughout human culture. Even our culture today, we have a Master Chief and Link from Zelda. We have heroes who we worship to a degree because of their strength or courage or wisdom. Modern heroes like Luke Skywalker even. And if you've watched my last video on Joseph Campbell about following your bliss, you'll know that there really wouldn't have been a Luke Skywalker without Joseph Campbell. That George Lucas was inspired by Campbell's works and wanted to incorporate them into his Methodist Buddhist space opera. But the hero's journey is generally a three-part cycle where the hero, let's just use the analogy of Star Wars. Luke, he starts out in a state of ignorance. He's just a farm boy living out there on Tatooine. He don't know nothing about that big world, but he has a bunch of ideals. And I'm going through another hero's journey story right now, Attack on Titan, that has a much more postmodernist, deconstructed end to it. But let's just stick with Star Wars for now. And then there's the descent into the Underworld, where Luke is approached by a wise man, by a mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who bequeaths upon him his spiritual task. Also, through the sort of spiritual entity, in the form of a hologram, the anima, the woman figure of Leia. So Leia combines with Obi-Wan, who she trusts, in order to send Luke on his hero's journey into the underworld, into hell. And I don't really know exactly what Lucas was getting at with the whole, moon not actually being real thing and it's actually a space station. Was that just an allegory or not? But we'll leave that for another video. The point being, he goes to this fake moon space station, which is hell, and descends into it to confront his father and eventually win the freedom of his friends. And, they also managed to get the key to hell, the schematics of the Death Star on R2-D2, to the revolutionary force, the force that stands up to the status quo in the world and seeks to shake the world to its foundations. And then we have the third part of the hero's journey, where he brings the Promethean Flame, or the power that he gains in the underworld, in this case his mastery of the Force that he gained with Obi-Wan Kenobi and also Obi-Wan's sacrifice, because Obi-Wan then acts through Luke. He says to Vader, "If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." And then he's the one who guides Luke in the Death Star trench to turn off his targeting computer and use the spiritual power of the Force instead. So Obi-Wan does act through death to become more powerful. So he has the mentor in a spiritual faculty. He has this mystical power, and then he destroys hell. He destroys this fake moon space station and saves the day. So that's Star Wars: A New Hope. Of course, this is a microcosm of myth within a much larger saga that Disney then ruined. I love how there was Darth Vader was an AI character in Fortnite recently, and someone asked him whether he thought, because you could basically hire Darth Vader as an NPC to help your team in Fortnite, and if you talk to him, he would do these automatic AI generated responses. And he said the N-word a couple times. People come to say that. But in the midst of that, they also asked him, what's better, the prequels, the original trilogy, or the sequels? And I'm pretty sure he said the prequels were better, Man After My Own Heart, AI Vader. But he also said, as far as the sequels, they do not exist. So the part of the reason the sequels suck or don't exist is because they got rid of this whole hero's journey archetype. But I digress. The hero's journey is, again, Whether it's Prometheus, where he also starts in a state of ignorance, goes into hell, and then brings the gift of fire up to the people of earth and illuminates the darkness. He dispels the darkness with fire. The point is, whether it's ancient Greece, like super ancient Greece, or modern days, 1977, 50 years ago. Actually, we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, aren't we? That'll be exciting. I'm sure Fortnite will do a crossover for that. But whether it's modern or ancient, there is this inbuilt archetypal mythic form of the hero's journey. And this isn't just for the hero. This is kind of the crux point of this video. We all have a hero's journey that God wants us to embark on. God has set this path of meaning in front of us. And for most of us, it won't be having our hot sister hook us up with this random old guy and go to the fake hell moon and blow it up, defeating our father in a space battle. That's not really probably what most of us are gonna do, but it might be in a spiritual or kind of dreamlike capacity. Like we might be supposed to team up with the anima figure. And to explain what the anima is, so Jung, one of his theories, Carl Jung, was that if you're a man, that's your dominant or superior aspect of your personality. But you also have a woman within you, and that's your anima. And for women, it's the same thing. The dominant factor is the female or yin side of thing. The yin side of things. And then they also have the male yang principle inside of them, though. And so for women, it's the animus, and that's the rational or decision-making faculty. That when women have a bad relationship with their fathers, it's stunted. And for men, it's the ability to feel, to emote, to empathize, to be in touch with their emotions. And that is stunted if you have a bad relationship with your mother. So Luke Skywalker had a bad relationship with his mother. He never even knew who she was. There was this placeholder figure of Beru Lars, but then his anima showed up in the form of his sister. Didn't know it was a sister at his time. Definitely kissed her on the mouth quite passionately. You don't usually, you're not supposed to do that with your sister. But anyway, didn't know it was a sister at the time. And she shows up, the anima image, she's literally an image, a holographic image in Star Wars, shows up to catapult him on his hero's journey. And so we may have a sister or a mother or a wife or a girlfriend or just even a platonic friend who's a woman. Or it might be your internal anima complex that then catapults you on your hero's journey. And you may have a physical mentor, like a grandpa or an older coworker or a professor or a teacher, or it might be the wise old man within you. But somehow a combination of these figures will catapult you on your hero's journey. And it might just be to recapture your sanity. Maybe you had a horrible childhood full of trauma-inducing bullshit. Bullcrap, sorry, YouTube. I might have to edit that one out. But full of trauma-inducing bullcrap. And now it's your job to go turn around and fix that on your hero's journey. So you'll descend into hell and confront those things and then come out the other side with some kind of new power that you didn't have before to fight evil and save the world, or at least save your own personal world. So these mythic forms, myth is very similar to dreams. Myths are almost dreamlike, and you may actually play out the hero's journey within your dreams. But these mythic forms are there to guide us, whether it's Star Wars, any other hero's journey, even the story of Jesus. These myths are here to guide us on the journey that we're supposed to take as people in our lives. And at the end of this journey, of starting in a state of innocence and then going through trials and coming out the other side purified and changed is the meaning of your life. And that might not be necessarily like riches or material success, but you will feel content and you'll feel like your life has purpose and meaning. That's the whole purpose of the hero's journey, is to reconnect us, to attone us with our higher selves. And so, I've been on mine and I'm still on it. But the most important thing, Jung said, was for people to know the myth that they're living. And understanding the hero's journey is one component of understanding the myth that you're living. So I do appreciate you guys watching. I hope using that swear word does not mess with the algorithm for this video. I don't usually edit these videos. I'm actually have to go in and edit it this time. If you guys did appreciate the video, learning a little bit more about the hero's journey, please do like and subscribe, hype the video. God bless you for watching. I'll be back soon with new content.